Hello, and welcome to the show about fun facts and a little bit of science. Today, we are talking about mRNA. I'm sure if you've been around the internet or TV in the last year, you've heard about mRNA. It's in the vaccines from Pfizer and Moderna. If you have Facebook, then you probably heard that it's a crazy DNA-altering vaccine made from babies that lets the government track you. So let me just say that if you believe in any of that, then this episode is not for you. Feel free to stop watching now. For the rest of you, we will be looking at the history of mRNA, what it actually is, and how it can change medical treatments forever. Let's get started with COVID-related details. No, mRNA does not change your DNA. In fact, it never even makes it to your cell's nucleus where your DNA is, so it literally cannot change it. mRNA vaccines work by teaching your body how to make specific protein. This protein triggers an immune response to the virus. mRNA vaccines don't contain any live virus, nor do they contain a weakened or inactivated form of the virus. And fetal tissue is in no way used to produce the vaccines from Pfizer or Moderna. But there are some treatments that do use those tissues.
Aha! I knew it!
So let me rant about the use of fetal tissue real quick. There were 2 elective abortions done in the 1960s, one in Sweden and one in England. Those cells have been used to help create vaccines for hepatitis A, chickenpox, rabies, and more. The cells that were taken in the 1960s are the same ones used today. We aren't killing off babies all willy-nilly to make vaccines, y'all. And look, the Catholic Church, they are famously against abortion, and even they approve of these vaccines and have determined that this does not go against their beliefs. I mean, it really is like having that donor symbol on your ID. If you die, your organs may be used to help others live. So, be upset about fetus tissues from the 1960s and refuse all vaccines, or realize the situation, that you're not being injected with baby DNA. And if you're enjoying this show, be sure to subscribe, and apparently you got to hit the little bell notification, otherwise you don't know that I'm doing it, even though it's every Sunday. It's so easy to make things sound worse than they are. I mean, who remembers the outcry against Pepsi a few years ago? People were claiming they put fetus cells in their beverages. The reality is this: a company called Synomics uses cells for research of new flavor additives. They are not adding fetal cells to drinks, but rather they are using flavor receptors in kidney cells to act as taste testers. It never ends up in a drink, but still, Pepsi was bullied out of their contracts by social media, like Starbucks using bugs to make red food dye. Well, not anymore. Listen, if that still makes you angry, then go after Nestle, because those SOBs are still doing it. But let me be clear, they are SOBs because of the whole water fiasco. Now, let's get back to mRNA. So, first, what does it stand for? Messenger RNA is what you will hear most often. Cool, but nobody seems to say what RNA is. Ribonucleic acid. So, messenger ribonucleic acid. All right, so what's that? This is how it is explained on genome.gov by Dr. Leslie Bisecker. RNA or ribonucleic acid is a nucleic acid that is similar in structure to DNA, but different in subtle ways. The cell uses RNA for a number of different tasks, one of which is called messenger RNA, or mRNA. And that is the nucleic acid information molecule that transfers information from the genome into proteins by translation. Another form of RNA is tRNA, or transfer RNA, and these are non-protein encoding RNA molecules that physically carry amino acids to the translation site that allows them to be assembled into chains of proteins in the process of translation. Or, for an easy explanation, just look at this graphic. So basically, without mRNA, your genetic code would never get used by your body. You wouldn't be able to produce the proteins your body needs. mRNA literally is the messenger for your body to make proteins. Okay, so it's about as natural as it could be then, right? It's like complaining about a blood transfusion. Your body already has it. Here's what Moderna says about using mRNA in medicine. At Moderna, we are leveraging the fundamental role that mRNA plays in protein synthesis. We have developed proprietary technologies and methods to create mRNA sequences that cells recognize as if they were produced in the body. We focus on diseases where enabling targeted cells to produce or turn on one or more given proteins will enable the body to fight or prevent a given disease. So essentially, they are helping the body make the needed proteins it can already make, just at a faster rate that's more precise. Imagine your body as a castle that is being attacked by an invading army. Now, you weren't prepared for this attack, so you just have a few archers on your castle walls. You're able to take out a few of the bad guys, but eventually you will be overrun. Maybe you can fight them off once they break down your gate, but you may or may not lose the battle. Now, imagine the same scenario. Your body is a castle, about to be invaded by an army, but this time, you have 1,000 archers ready for the attack. The invading army has just been outnumbered and will be wiped out before they can even reach the gate. Of course, there's still a slight chance someone is able to sneak in or climb the walls of your castle, but once inside, they really won't be able to do much damage since you were prepared and heavily armed. Does that make sense? You already had archers, but now all your townspeople are trained to be expert archers as well. Our experience with mRNA is extensive in the world of science and research. It's just that we, the everyday people, have not heard much about it prior to COVID-19. So it's understandable that you may question it because you don't know anything about it. That's natural. The difference is whether you want to believe people on Facebook or real scientists. mRNA is nothing new in the world of vaccines. We have been researching their benefits since at least 1990. They have been used in clinical trials for the Zika virus, HIV, influenza, and other infections. Back in the 90s, they were able to reverse diabetes in rats. And at that time, mRNA-based solutions weren't efficient enough. But then, in 2005, scientists found a way to bypass immune protection and boost protein production. This was a groundbreaking moment in mRNA therapeutics. Perhaps the best news about mRNA is that it has been leading the way in fighting cancer, and I think that's something we can all get behind. When it comes to fighting cancer, unique mRNA treatments are developed for each patient, a one-of-a-kind vaccine, if you will. It's created by breaking down the genetic mutations of an individual's tumor cells. They prioritize the most common to the least common mutations and develop a specialized treatment just for that patient. Using mRNA in treatments allows our body to create a protection against specific infections. In cancer treatments, our immune system learns about these new threats to our body and not only attacks it if it shows up, but it essentially hunts down and kills any remaining cells. It's like hiring an elite task force to protect you from foreign threats. Like any new medicine or technology throughout history, there will be those that are afraid or are skeptical of it. But with time, we all see the benefits and it will become the new normal because it works and it's better. Don't forget that penicillin is mold. You don't think people rejected the idea of putting mold in their bodies? As always, thanks for watching, and what did you learn today?